Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachak Kodash. The belongs to the apostles and the elders of great millstone true well. Salutation to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman, this week's topic is going to be entitled, "In their affliction, they shall seek me early." It's inspired by the book of Hosea, the 5th chapter, the 15th verse. Let me just go ahead and read that. Hosea 5:15 says, "I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense." This day is talking about the nation of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. How have you offended the Lord? You've broken laws, statutes, and commandments, all right? Some knowingly, some a lot willingly. You know, adultery runs rampant, eating pork runs rampant. You people call yourself God-fearing. You read the Bible and go ahead and break the laws, you see? And seek my face. The main offense really too is, the prophets are out there. Even though we get on these other camps, IUIC, ISUPK, they still telling you Israelites. You know what I'm saying? That's the start of it. That's very important, knowing your nationality. So when you scoff at the prophets of the Lord, that's an offense. Because we're the mouthpieces, we're the vessels of the Lord. It says, "And seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early." Right? So when Jake is pushed to affliction, they will seek the Most High. Now, I was watching a little bit of this lesson this brother did. It was this Jake on TikTok, this older Jake on TikTok, talking about meal prep, food prepping, like being a doomsday prepper. How it's gonna pretty much be irrelevant, because he's gonna sack whatever store, the Popeyes, the CVS, the Walmarts, whatever. But this is the thing with Jake. This is something in chess called one move thinking. One move thinking is you play a move like you might capture a piece and you don't think what your opponent might do, right? So that Jake, they just have one move thinking. They're thinking, okay, I'll just sack the CVS. But nigga, what if everybody's sacking the CVS? What if nothing else is in the CVS or nothing else is in the Walmart? There's nothing else is in these. That's not gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? Especially depending on where you are, like New York. It's a lot of fucking people here, man. You're not thinking about when they shut down the bridges and the trains. So you're not thinking any move ahead. You see? Now, what you gonna do when that runs out? You know what a lot of Jakes are gonna do? They're gonna try to seek a higher power. A lot of them, the scriptures tell you, a lot of people gonna be saying, "Lord, Lord," all right, trying to call on the name of the Lord in that day when their back is against the wall. But the Lord's gonna look like, "Nigga, I don't know you, man. All right, where were you when my prophets is out there warning you and telling you what's to come, giving you my name, telling you to get right?" And the Most High is going to say to hell with them. And look, the Lord have done that before. There's many accounts you can read in the scriptures where prophets like Jeremiah has warned people. All right, Nehemiah warned people to get right, humble yourself. Well, let me not lose. I was talking about Jonah. Jonah went to Nineveh, but the Lord still destroyed Nineveh, even when they chilled out, if you will. But Jeremiah is a really good example, telling you, Jakes, just listen. Don't buck up against the Babylonians. The Lord is saying just let him do his thing. Nah, fuck that. Jake is very rebellious, Whatever the Lord say to do, they just want to do the opposite. I remember when I got my license, first time I got my license, I'm driving. I had a Jake with me in the car. The light turned red. His first thing he said was, "Run that." Mind you, this nigga can't even drive. He's just like, "Run that." Like, Jake just want to break all the rules, man. This one Jake said yellow means speed up. Karab, he's no longer with us, but he made a good point. He was just like, I think he said something to the effect of, that the Lord said, "Don't eat chicken, not be the #1 meat in the world." Something to that effect. But but the point is, like, Jake will put down pork if the Lord said don't eat chicken, because it's just rebellious, stiff-necked people, Book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 30 says, "Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people," Salakia, he said, "the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls." Jake talking shit against the prophets. What's new? "And in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them, right? They're not gonna do them, you know? Yo, man, that shit sound cool, man. Yeah, yo, we Israelites, man. And that's about where it stops. And the scriptures tell you in the book of James 1:22, can be a hearer, but you have to be a doer as well, man. You see? Like I said, Jake is gonna come, like, try to repent and try to get right when it's too damn late. It says, and they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will do them, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart, their mind, going after their covetousness, right? So they'll pull up. We used to see this, man, endless times on 34th Street, man. Oh my goodness. Pull up. Yeah, God, that's right, God. Winter come around, that nigga's gone. You know? They'll pop up every now and again and shit, and you don't see him no more, man. So that's somebody that you call not really having faith. You know, it's just entertainment. You know, when there's excitement out, they pull up. 31, and they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their hearts go after their own covetousness. You know, you come in this truth. Look, man, you're gonna have to put that pork shit down. You're gonna have to put that cigarette down. You can't smoke weed no more. You can't deal with no man's woman. You know, you can't get your shit lined up. They're gonna find something they're offended at, that they still want to do to please their flesh. You know, their own covetousness. 32, and lo, thou art to them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument. This is all entertainment. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when you're looking for something for entertainment, you're not really taking it serious, right? It's just entertainment. But the word of the Lord isn't entertainment. And why are they taking this for entertainment? Because their back is not against the wall. You know, they're not in a position of difficulty, which puts a lot of Jake on lees, on their leisure, all right? Always go back to Bishop Nathaniel, all right? That guy got that leisure lean, very comfortable, not wanting the people telling you, look, when Jacob's trouble, you read about in Daniel's 12th chapter, the 4th verse takes place, he's pretty much saying that, Daniel's 12:1, Daniel's 12:1, Jeremiah 30:7, he's pretty much saying, hey, well, we're going to get beamed out of that, which is bullshit, all right? We're going to be in the midst of all that, praying for protection. Some brothers getting cast into prison. It's going to be a hard time, but what does it say in the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter? That, the day of the Lord, we know well about it. So it's not going to catch us like a thief in the night, roughly paraphrasing. When all this stuff come through, it's going to be like, yo, it's not going to be some easy thing to get through, but it's going to be like, yo, we prep for it, And, in the grand scheme of things, too, low-key, kind of going to be happy. Like, when all hell breaks loose and it's the end, it's like, yo, ain't no more bills and shit to worry about. Ain't no more bullshit to worry about, work and all that. The Lord is right around the corner. We just got to endure that last bit. So it's going to be like more to look forward to, which is going to give us more fuel, more faith to finish our course. Lord willing. All right. Verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they say, then shall they know, rather, that a prophet hath been among them. Right? That's when they're going to realize. Look, when Jeremiah was on the scene, nobody was like, yo, that's the great Jeremiah. And, yo, that's the man. Nah, they were talking shit, man. Just like how you have the apostles and elders now that's been doing this work diligently, all right, for 30, 40 years, 20 plus years of bishops. You know what I'm saying? Jake is not looking at that like, yo, that's the Lord doing that. They just say, oh, that's some regular guys, and they talk their shit, and you see. But when the new Acts of the Apostles is written and we're reading about it in the kingdom, it's gonna be like, damn, how come Jake couldn't see it? It's always like that. Hindsight is always 20/20. You see? But throughout the Yahweh Shem Yahshua for giving us the eyesight to see what the hell is going on, and paired us up with the apostles, man. All right. This is a book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the proverb of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple. Subtlety, under tillis web. You gotta know how to be subtle in this world. That's why the scriptures say, be wise as serpents, harmless as doves, right? So to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion, right? Knowing who we are, knowing what time we're in, knowing what the hell is coming. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, right? So if you're wise, you hear this thing, you're going to increase yourself in learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wisdom. It says, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? So the fear of the Lord, fearing the Most High, keeping His law, statutes, and commandment, that's the beginning. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the majority of these people out this world are foolish. A lot of them don't even believe in the Most High. The fool saith in his heart, there is no God. Okay? And just because, when you read Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, just because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it's fully setting these niggas' minds to do evil. But though a sinner do evil 100 times, I know it's going to be well with those that serve the Lord. Okay. It says, my son, hear the instructions of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother. This is all going back to the scriptures. But let me jump down a little bit. Let me jump down to verse 20. Proverbs 1 and 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. And that's why we don't only just teach these internet videos. Gotta go out there in the highways and byways, all right? If the apostles didn't go out on the streets and start recording, a lot of us wouldn't even know about this thing. So you gotta go out there. That's a mandatory thing. Gotta go out and teach. That's what the Lord commanded us. Bid to the marriage. 21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, right? And we go where the people are. Don't be afraid of who might see you, because that's just gonna happen. The Lord will be with you. Okay. She gotta go in the chief place of concourse. We literally at one point here in the Bronx, outside of the Manhattan going out, on Saturdays in Manhattan, we literally went to a street in the Bronx called Grand Concourse. So we was teaching in Grand Concourse, and the Lord was with us, man, because we was out there sometimes late. You got grimy niggas out there, man, but the Most High protected us, man, from all that. You see? It says, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? Right? Jake loved simple shit, easily pacified. All types of shit could be going on in the Middle East. All Jake knows is the playoffs. Back in the day, it used to be the BET Awards. Just dumb distraction shit. Simplicity. How long will you simple ones will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge, right? Fools hate knowledge. You know, like I said, Jake don't want to get right, but when their back is against the wall, they will. It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. How's the Lord doing that, man? Is the Most High coming off his throne to tell you? No. All right, the Most High's always had a mediator between himself and men, himself and mankind. All right, and that's the prophets. That's how you're gonna know. Right? That's why the Lord has us doing this thing. It says 24, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Again, and no man regarded. Again, this is via the prophets, right? It says, but ye have set at naught, you have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. So you just put the Lord's word to the side, you know, turned your back on the Lord, again, via the prophets, okay? It says, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. It says, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, right? So, you know, what's that talking about? That's talking about what that guy was talking about in that video. That day on everything is shut down, complete martial law, chaos in the streets, you know, all that stuff going on. All right, that's the day that the Lord is gonna be mocking. Okay, it says, whoa, verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they, or there we go, 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. You're gonna be trying to find videos, man, the internet's gonna be shut down, you know. Probably go to the old camp spots, trying to find you, and all that, you know, people that don't talk, they're gonna be looking, you know, trying to get answers. Lord, is going to be over in that time. They shall seek me early. Remember, in the affliction they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would none of my counsel, they despised my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of their fruit, of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. See that? For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of the fool shall destroy them. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. So we're getting right with the Lord now. We're not waiting for all hell to break loose. Okay, we're trying to make sure we're in the good graces of Yahweh Shai now. Okay, so that, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakudash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Citation to the hopeful elect that day, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.